Hi guys, my name's Elliot Harlin Bethel and this channel is about energy healing, personal development and my journey utilising various forms of fasting as a healing modality. And today the topic of conversation for me is going to be evolution. I feel like as a race, in the last 10 years or so, we became so content with just consuming that consumption got to an all-time high and evolution got to an all-time low. That in effect we weren't creating in the dark, we weren't creating in the negative, and we weren't creating in the positive. So we go through times of war and mass destruction and creating in the negative, and then we go through times of building up and becoming positive and working consciously in unity. And our souls are here. I see Earth as a soul training ground, that we're here to have experiences and to experience as many things as we can collectively and individually, different, but to push boundaries and to keep experiencing new things. And when we stop evolving, our soul gets very uneasy and we start to self-destruct. This is what I found personally. I'm not saying this is you, I'm saying this is from my experience, and if you relate to this, then by all means, if there's a resonation there, then listen to what I'm saying and take from it what you resonate to and just fuck the rest off. Just observe it and let it pass by like clouds in the sky. Don't attach any emotion to it and it doesn't become part of your reality. I feel like we're stepping into a huge shift of evolution right now. We see people like London Real TV really pushing the boundaries of freedom of speech and entering new territory. And a lot of the stuff I see on London Real TV with Brian Rose at the moment, and I've met Brian before when I was doing my 40-day fast with no food. He was very interested in that. He's really pushing the boundaries in that direction. And I always find these things interesting, and I do like to watch them and observe them like clouds in the sky. But some of the stuff that's on there at the moment, I mean, I had tickets to see David Icke last year, and I agree with a lot of the stuff he says, but I'm very, very conscious of what I emotionally attach myself to, because if he has an opinion that I don't want to take on and create in my reality, then it's very important to observe it and let it pass like a cloud in the sky. Because advertisers, for instance, this is the way I'm going to describe it, have known for a long time that sex sells products, because if they have on the screen a product or a word or are talking certain words, symbols, vibrations, and they add sex into that equation, the emotion, the energy of motion of love and sex are very powerful. Therefore, whatever you're watching, whatever product you see, whatever words you're hearing, the symbols that they are trying to sell to you, it's like the second sex or love is thrown in there, you've cast a hook onto it and it's now attached to you and you're drawing it to you, because the combination of your energy and motion and that symbol has now created an attachment, and whatever you see with that thoughts and emotions will then start to come forth from the non-physical into the physical. You will draw that towards you. When you become a conscious co-creator, you become very, very impeccable with the things you see, the things you speak, and your words. There's a great book called The 4 Agreements. It's now been updated to the 5 Agreements. One of these is be impeccable with your word, and the second one is do not take anything, do not make any judgments, or do not take anything personally. If somebody says something and you take it personally, you kind of attach an emotion to it and you start to create that. So when you become very impeccable with what you're putting into this subconscious, your subconscious, in the words of Neville Goddard, is the feminine. The conscious mind is the masculine. What you consciously see and what you consciously choose to see impregnates the feminine, and the feminine then expresses that into your reality. So consciously choose what you want to see with your masculine and then impregnate it into your subconscious. Your subconscious then gives birth to this. If you guys follow Masons or Masonry, or there's a great guy called Manny P. Hall, he explains things as in the architect and the builder. So your conscious mind is the architect and your subconscious is the builder. So choose what you see with the architect and what you create, and then impress that into your builder, and the builder will then go forth. So you're impressing it and expressing it, as opposed to impregnating and giving birth to. Impress, express. So you have these two parts. You have a conscious mind, you have a subconscious mind. You have a yin and a yang, you have a light and a dark. It's not about demonizing one of these and pushing them away, because when I had a drug problem in the past, I would demonize drugs, and by demonizing them, I would then attach it to it, and that would then keep coming back to me to teach me the lesson that I'm expressing negativity, and that negativity is coming back to me. The second I realized that cocaine was an entity within itself, and that it's not necessarily good or bad, it's only what I'm projecting onto it, I now see all things as energy vibrating at a level of frequency, and they can be used for positive or negative, or I just don't put an attachment to them and let them be their own entity within themselves. This way it has nothing to do with me, and I am connected to it but not attached to it, because we are connected to everything but attached to nothing. That is the way to, for me, I have found it's the way to live my best life as my highest self, serving my highest purpose for the greatest good. So there's a word that I use quite a lot, and that word is Omni Benevolence. Now, Omni Benevolence is for the greatest good, for the greatest number. So whenever you come to a crossroads where you make a decision, there's a great book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's by Stephen Covey. I'll pop a little sign for that up here. It's a great book, and he would go into major corporations and he would help them rebuild themselves. And one of the things he would advise managers in companies to do is that every time you hit a crossroads, make that decision a win-win for every party involved. If you make a decision in a business transaction or a love transaction where you're getting something more out of it, but you know somebody else is going to lose out, do not even make that decision. You want to make it so that both parties come out of it winning. What this in effect does is cast out a net over the highest vibration. And when you cast out a net over the highest vibration, you draw high vibrations to you. The more high vibrations you draw to you, the more high vibrations then come to you, and so on and so on and so on. You would have heard the expression that you become the sum of the 5 people you spend the most amount of time with. This is karma, it's law of attraction, but it's also vibrational resonance. So if you spend time around people with lots of knowledge and that are expanding and that are raising their vibration rubs off on you. If you start to feel too uncomfortable around them, you will leave, and that vibration will not then affect you. You've all walked into a room before and thought, nah, fuck this, there's something not right in here, and you've left that room, and then you've heard that something might have kicked off in there, might have been an argument or a fight. You have 9 clear senses. You have 5 main senses: touch, taste, sound, smell and sight. I will let you look into the 9 clear senses yourself, because for a lot of you watching this video, this will probably be new territory for you. Now, when you find new territory, it's best for you to go and look up, because if I tell you about the 9 clear senses, I'm planting my seed and my version of the 9 clear senses within you, and that's what you will then go on to find. But by not telling you about it and just telling you just giving you the name of it, you will now cast your web out, and whatever's best for your vibration will now be drawn to you, because this is how it works. When I said yesterday in my video, 300 people going to a cinema to watch a film, there's only one film being shown, but there's 300 versions of that film being interpreted, because everybody in that cinema is going to see that film from a different level of vibration or a different perspective, depending on where they are emotionally, mentally, physically and spiritually. So it's really, really interesting that when you start to raise your vibration, the events, circumstances and environments around you start to raise with you. So when I first started my awakening, I spent a lot of time trying to make my family and friends see things from my perspective, or to awaken them. This doesn't work, because this is control. Control is something that is coming under scrutiny right now. Everything that's happening right now is because certain powerful people have tried to control things. Control is weakness. Power is letting go. When you let go and you You put things into your vortex constantly. Every thought you have sends out a vibration. Every word you speak then solidifies that vibration and brings it into the physical. When you write something down, it brings forth from the non-physical into the physical. This is basic creation, basic law of attraction, basic karma. But if you try to control things constantly, you're not giving room for your vibration to let things come in. Because our bodies are instruments, they are transponders and receivers. If you're constantly transponding, you're never in a receiving mode. This is why it's great if you want to start consciously creating or consciously co-creating, to have the thoughts that you want, to have the affirmations, to bring it in, and then to meditate for 10 minutes. Because sending out sends out the signal, and then meditating brings in, so you're ready to receive. This is taught by the teachings of Abraham. This is taught by Neville Goddard. This is taught by Joe Dispenza. This is becoming common knowledge now across the world. People are waking up to this. And by trying to control things, you do not benefit yourself and you do not benefit the person you're trying to control. In fact, 9 times out of 10 or more, you might find that if you try to control a situation, it will run away from you. When you chase something, when you're younger and you chase after a girl and you're really trying to get with a girl, they run away from you. When you give up and you're like, okay, I'm going to put my attention somewhere else, they come after you. It's very interesting when you start to see patterns, and a lot of people are seeing patterns in everything now, whether it's in numbers, geometry, TV, radio. You get to a level of vibration where you will get messages through your clairsenses, so clairaudience. So you will hear a radio commercial, you will hear a TV, you'll be sitting in a restaurant and you'll overhear the part of the conversation behind you from people you don't even know, but it will give you a message for something you've been wanting to know. You will be walking down the road and a question you've asked subconsciously will appear in a billboard and you will only have highlighted the answer. This is the breadcrumbs, the synchronicities, the bridge of incidents that you then follow that raises your vibration to the next level, and you almost don't even need to. Things become very, very easy and very, very forthcoming to you when you get into this powerful co-creation stage. And again, this is my experience. This is something that I'm experiencing on a daily basis. Now, this is something that the people around me are experiencing on a daily basis, and this is something that has been taught throughout history by Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, Abraham, Joe Dispenza. This is all now coming to light for everybody. The information's there. If you start to see it and put your creative energy, your attention onto it, you will get shown more of it. You'll notice that once you watch this video, you'll go off of your YouTube, you'll go off your Facebook or Instagram, and somebody else with a similar message will start to come up, because your vibration is matched to that. You're now consciously creating, and you've thrown out your web and you're drawing more of that information to you. And the more you do that, and the less you stop watching any negativity on the news, the less negativity you watch on the news now, the more space you free up on your hard drive to access more light. So this is why I do a lot of fasting, because when you fast from food, you're fasting from particle. When you're fasting from particle, you become more wave. You become more wave and less particle, as Dr. Joe Dispenza would put it. I have a very interesting poster, and I've put it on my Instagram many times. It shows 5 different people and the different levels of food they're eating. If you're eating very dense foods, you don't have as much room within yourself for light, but the less food you eat, the more light you can channel, the more light you contain. Light is information. There's information in light. Light codes, various different light code activations. Again, this is something that I'm being shown I need to talk about more now. This is something that I've been doing for 3 or 4 years, but people are actually becoming at a level of activation and understanding where this can be spoken about widely without the feeling of, you can feel more, I can feel more, and people that are now talking about this can feel more in their power to share this information, because people are waking up to more of this information. Anyway, this is a 15-minute video on evolution. Evolution is now back in motion. Let's keep it in motion. If you want to create within the darkness, go and create within the darkness. Some people enjoy that. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as you're expanding and pushing boundaries that way. As an energy, as a collective energy now, we're now expanding both ways, which is great because we're entering new fields. We are creating again. If you want to create in the light, go and create in the light. Sometimes bring yourself back to the middle, take a look. If I want to go and create in that side today, I'll go and create in that side. If I want to go and create in that side, I can. But when you become balanced and whole, you can now choose, as opposed to being sometimes stuck in a dark energy if you might not have wanted to be there. It's sometimes a looping pattern for you to see the patterns, to get out of it, to then be able to be in that seesaw moment in the middle where you can now selectively choose where you want to create within your yin, your yang, your masculine, your feminine, your dark, your light. I hope this video has been educational for you guys. I do realise that when I'm channeling stuff, I do go very, very fast and there's a lot of information to be taken in. So feel free to watch this video a couple of times. If there's any questions, pop a comment in below, or you can email me at mindbodysoulspiritcoach@gmail.com. Thank you for watching. Lots of love. Namaste.